Hi guys, welcome to a new video. So today I'm going to be discussing the recent news about Boohoo again. Obviously, I've done a lot of videos about Boohoo, but it's a company I'm finding really fascinating. Had a lot of bad press, some stellar results, and now some more bad news or really not interesting news depending on your point of view. So it's come out in the FT today that PwC is resigning as Boohoo's auditor. Allegedly due to reputational concerns because of the news from the less factories, the supply chain issues, etc. Really the negative press and the negative opinions from officials from really lots of different places. Now obviously that negative image hasn't affected Boohoo's sales at all. As I said, the results at the end of September were stellar. There are a few things that I thought were odd about them as I've done a video about, but overall there's not much you can really complain about. So yeah, I think this is either interesting news or a non-event. The fact that PwC is quitting because of reputational concerns is either a bad sign or a sign of the times, and by that I mean that auditing firms have had to be very careful recently with which clients they keep, what they seem to be condoning, whether they're preferring, taking money beyond any ethical or moral agenda in any way. Obviously, there are issues with Wirecard earlier in the year. There's been recent breaks with Deloitte quitting as EG Group's auditor, which is at the bottom of this FT article as well. Because of concerns about governance. Again, that's partly, I think, governance concerns that's causing this alleged severing of the relationship with Boohoo. What'll be interesting here is to see who it replaces PwC. If we get another big firm, then this probably isn't really market news. If we get someone obscure, someone not trusted, or someone that just seems, I suppose, less trusted by the markets, then that might be a problem for the stock, but that'll probably be short term. To be honest, the auditing here didn't have a huge effect on the supply chain issues because it didn't affect the process too much, if that makes sense. So a new auditor probably isn't going to make a huge amount of difference there. Certainly, I don't think this is a plus for the stock. I don't think this is just going to cause it to rally, but I don't think it's a massive negative. I think it's highly likely that you see a small decline on Monday as investors accept this news, but it will be small. It will probably be limited to the beginning of the week. Although, in all fairness, the Boohoo share price has declined since earnings. As you can see there, about 19%, which is interesting. The earnings were obviously stellar. I know a lot of people were expecting it to rebound off those earnings, beat the 400 mark. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Obviously, when those earnings were released, the stock was very close to the 52-week high, the all-time high as well. So it's an interesting case here. As I said, I can see it falling here, but that could be it following this trend line that it seems to have broken into here in the past month, or possibly in reaction to this auditor news. Now, the most interesting part of this story for me is the timing. It's been a long time in months since this news came out earlier in the year. And if PwC is quitting because of problems with the supply chain, with governance issues, etc., it's taken them a long time to do that. Now, obviously, they're a big company. There's going to be a lot of process involved in choosing to quit working with a client to sever that relationship. Obviously, they get money from it. I imagine Boohoo is quite a reasonably big customer. But this has taken a while. Now, if I'm on full-on conjecture mode, I might say that maybe this indicates that there's more bad news to come, more things that could cause reputational damage, or maybe PwC is just being really, really cautious, really careful because of the government attention around auditing firms these days, because of the recent big failures like Wirecard. That could be it. It's really difficult to know. Obviously, time will tell. As I said, what will be interesting is where we go from here. If it's a big company that replaces PwC, this will be a non-event probably. But it's just another warning sign. Now, obviously, I don't really have a horse in this race. I am not long or short Boohoo. I have actually never invested any money in Boohoo, either long or short. I just think this is a very interesting story. I think this is an interesting development, possibly. And I'm going to keep following it. Now, as I said, stock will probably take a small hit on Monday. But in the long term, this isn't something to worry about, I don't think. Who the auditor is doesn't have a huge effect on the company's share price. So in a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, if you're a long-term investor, you're not going to be worried about this. And you're also probably not going to be worried about the Leicester claims unless there are further issues. So, if you're long Boohoo, if you love the company, you love what it's doing, then this is no reason to sell, in my opinion. Now, if you're short Boohoo, like certain short firms like Shadowfall, for instance, this is good news for you. This will probably see the stock price decline slightly, but is it really big enough news to affect long-term movements? Probably not. So yeah, I would say this shouldn't really affect your decision as an investor right now. If you've got a thesis on Boohoo, stick to it, whether that be long or short. Unless you're concerned about more warning signs. This could be one. Might not be, but it could be. But yeah, those are just my 2 cents on the topic. Thank you for listening. If you are interested, please subscribe and watch some more of my videos. And thank you very much.